Welcome Ladles and Jelly Spoons to Kohigh Mathy's YouTube channel and our retro roundup where we look at some of the video games that were hitting shop shelves and arcades in years gone by. Right, that was premise. Now June 1993 saw release of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, an action-adventure game developed and published by Nintendo for the Game Boy. It is the first installment in the Legend of Zelda series for the handheld games console. Link's Awakening is one of the few Zelda games not to take place in the land of Hyrule and does not feature Princess Zelda or the Triforce relic. Instead, the protagonist Link begins the game stranded on Kohigh Island, a place guarded by a whale-like deity called the Windfish. Assuming the role of Link, the player must fight monsters and solve puzzles while searching for 8 musical instruments that will awaken the sleeping fish and allow him to escape from the island.
I'm thirsty.
Day of the Tentacle, also known as Maniac Mansion 2 Day of the Tentacle, is a graphic point-and-click adventure game developed and published by LucasArts, and a sequel to the 1987 game Maniac Mansion. The plot follows Bernard and his friends Hoagie and Laverne as they attempt to stop the evil purple tentacle, a sentient disembodied tentacle, from taking over the world. The players take control over the trio to solve puzzles whilst using time travel to explore different periods of history.
Cheap mail order jewels?
What happened to Hoagie and Laverne?
I knew I should have bought a real diamond.
Right, June 1998 now, and that classic period of time saw the release of
Your men will land in the Stamsund area. Infiltrate a heavily defended camp.
Commandos, Behind Enemy Lines, a real-time tactics video game developed by Spanish company Pyro Studios and published by Eidos Interactive. The game sees players take control of a group of 6 allied commandos who conduct a range of missions across wartime Europe and Africa using small unit tactics. Each mission's objectives vary, but range from sabotage assassinations or rescuing captive allied units.
Understood, sir. Okie dokie. Right away. No problem, man. Sure thing. Consider it done, boss.
Street Fighter Alpha 3, released as Street Fighter 03 in Japan, Asia, South America and Oceania. It is a 2D fighting game released by Capcom and the third and final installment in the Street Fighter Alpha sub-series, and it serves as a sequel to Street Fighter Alpha 2. The game was produced after the Street Fighter 3 sub-series had already started, being released after Second Impact, but before Third Strike. Oh, we did a video on that, you know. Link in description if you'd like to go and watch it. Street Fighter Alpha 3 further expands the playable fighting roster from Street Fighter Alpha 2, and adds new features such as a selectable fighting style called Isms. Remember, Ladles and Jelly Spoons, if you're enjoying this video, we here at the Orbital Broadcast Bunker would love to hear about it, so be sure to leave us a comment down below. And whilst you're there, please do subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And why not check out some of our other social media platforms? But I digress. June 2003 now saw the release of Tomb Raider, The Angel of Darkness, an action-adventure game developed by Core Design and published by Eidos Interactive for the PlayStation 2 and Microsoft Windows. A Mac OS X version was developed by Beenox and published by Aspyr later in the same year. Acting as a direct sequel to Tomb Raider The Last Revelation and Tomb Raider Chronicles, the storyline follows Lara Croft as she attempts to clear herself from being the suspect of her former mentor Werner von Croy's murder, whilst investigating the activities of a black magic cult. The gameplay follows series traditions, with Lara navigating platforming environments whilst incorporating stealth and character growth elements. Veiwtiful Joe, a side-scrolling beat-em-up video game developed by Team Beautiful for the GameCube. It was originally released in 2003 as part of the Capcom 5 under director Hideki Kamiya. The game was later ported to the PlayStation 2. The game's story concerns Joe, an avid moviegoer whose girlfriend Sylvia is kidnapped during a film starring Joe's favourite superhero, Captain Blue. Joe is shortly thereafter thrust into Movieland, where Sylvia is taken by the villainous group known as Jado. After accepting a special V-Watch from Captain Blue, Joe transforms into the Tekusensu style persona Veiwtiful Joe and sets out to rescue her. June 2013 now. These games might not be considered retro, but before we look at games of 2013, did you know that June 2013 saw the release of the Ouya, an Android-based microconsole developed by Ouya Inc. Development was funded via Kickstarter, raising $8.5 million, becoming one of the website's highest earning projects in its history. Despite the successful Kickstarter campaign, the Ouya was criticised after launch as a commercial failure. Sales were lackluster, game developers failed to embrace the platform, and incentives offered to promote adoption failed, causing financial problems for Ouya Inc., forcing the company to wind down the business. Its software assets were sold to Razer Inc., who announced the discontinuation of the console in July of 2015. Razer continued to provide software support for existing Ouya units until June of 2019. Right, now, back to games. The Last of Us, an action-adventure game developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. Players control Joel, a smuggler tasked with escorting a teenage girl, Ellie, across a post-apocalyptic United States. The Last of Us is played from a third-person perspective. Players use firearms and improvised weapons and can use stealth to defend against hostile humans and cannibalistic creatures infected by a mutated fungus. And if you didn't know, it were recently adapted into the fantastic HBO TV series The Last of Us. Definitely worth a watch.
Lily, did you invite these strangers?
State of Decay, an action video game developed by Undead Labs and published by Microsoft Studios. The game places emphasis on how the player's leadership skills fare against an onslaught of problems, such as diminishing survival resources, group trust and morale, zombie extermination, base defense, and people's lives. The game combines elements of shooting, stealth, role-playing, and strategy. The game challenges players to survive by exploring, scavenging, and fighting the undead. Well, that's all from us here at the Orbital Broadcast Bunker. We hope you enjoyed the video. Now, be sure to let us know what you thought in the comments down below. Oh yes, and remember to subscribe. And we shall see you Friday.